So our journey begins tonight with the belief that we can buy our way to environmental salvation. That the solution to the fact that the world is consuming more resources than our natural systems can afford is to buy land and water, lock it up in a preserve, and call it good. And what we're going to talk through tonight is why that solution doesn't work anymore and what is needed. And I'm going to tell you two stories, one from far and one from near. And so the first story takes place here. It's the Solomon Islands. It's beautiful islands in the middle of the South Pacific, surrounded by coral reefs, where people have lived a very traditional life. They still gather rainwater for their fresh water, and they fish for their main source of food. And just like how they live, they fish in really traditional styles, like this man is doing. Small islands, small places where they fish. And what do they do when, in their lives? Well, they do exactly what you and I do. They raise their family, well, they have babies, they raise their families, they care for their parents, they educate their children, they feed their families. Okay, they work a lot harder than we do at feeding our families, but they feed their families. So why is this story important? Well, the modern world has moved into the Solomon Islands. Precipitation patterns have changed because of climate change, so now fresh water is really scarce. Pirates have moved into their fishing grounds, pirates who are hired by developed nations to put food on our tables are depleting their fishing grounds. So these small, beautiful islands are finding themselves in conflict. Villages that have always lived next to each other are in conflict. Conflicts fighting for their own personal survival, fighting for the survival of their children. So what do? Well, like a lot of seemingly intractable problems, it often takes a third voice to help change the conversation. And in this case, the elders on the Solomon Islands of the villages brought in science. And what they said was, help us map our islands, our marine area, and help us develop a conservation action plan so that we can all agree on how we utilize the resources. So in this case, it was the Nature Conservancy who came in with modern tools, and I want to emphasize, we worked with the communities. We were merely just some hands and some science, and they did all of the hard work of trying to decide how they were going to create a future for themselves. And what they did is they created and found peace with their natural resources, a peace that will keep the modern world at bay. So, what does this story have to do with Washington? Okay, good. So how many of you have ever been to this river? So if I told you that it is the only river in Washington that supports all 5 species of salmon? Skagit, right. It's the Skagit River, and there's going to be a beautiful barn that's going to appear any second. The Skagit River also provides 40% of all of the fresh water into Puget Sound. Fresh water being one of the most important elements for a healthy sound. And like the Solomon Islands, the Skagit River is home to Native Americans, indigenous communities who have been living here for eons. And their culture too is focused on salmon. This is their lifeblood. They raise their children, they use fresh water, and they fish. But salmon, like these raging rivers that move, wide, and so that the fishermen can catch them. Now there's a myth here in Washington that I'm going to dispel right now. Our salmon populations are not at 10% of historic highs because of Indians and fishing. They are not the problem. They are managers. It is in their lifeblood. It's just like he can't imagine the Solomon Islanders depleting their fishing resources. So what's the problem? Well, in the Skagit, the modern world has moved in as well. This is what our Skagit now looks like. Our wonderful farm fields, whereas fish like rivers that move like this, farmers like rivers to stay behind their riverbanks, stay behind the dikes. But we love our farms in the Skagit. We love all of that organic produce and all of the tulips. We love our farmers who grow this world's seed crop for celery, beet, and potatoes. So if you eat potato salad in Germany, the seeds most likely came from the Skagit. So where we're at now is that we have farmers and a great group of crops and economy. And we have fishermen. And where we are at now, is it fish or is it farms? And even ickier, is it Indian or is it the white man? Isn't that awful to think? But that is kind of where we're at in the development of, up in the Skagit. Now we have to solve this problem, not just for the Skagit, but for others, for like these guys. Orca whales are the most toxic mammals on Earth. So when one gets beached, the people wear hazmat suits to go look at them. Why are they so toxic? Well, again, it's the modern world. It's toxic runoff from our sidewalks, our rooftops, from farms, from forestry. I mean, it's everything. This is just kind of a fact of life. So what's the solution? Can we buy our way to salvation? Well, this is what our shorelines look like. We cannot buy shorelines. We cannot buy enough river frontage to solve this problem. It too is going to take people here in the Puget Sound sitting together and coming up with common solutions to our problems, finding peace with our natural resources. So I want to leave you with a poem that was written over 2,000 years ago. It's from the Bhumi Sutra of the Athara Veda, and it goes like this. May there be peace with space in the skies, peace with the atmosphere, peace with the waters. May there be peace with the earth. May there be peace with the herbs, the plants, the trees. May all the divine beings pervade peace. May the peace that pervades all creation be with you. Thank you.